Hello friends, and welcome back to Monster Monday. I have a quick one today because I found a cool creature once again in the Castles and Crusades Monsters and Treasure book that I think you can use in any fantasy role-playing game. So stick around and learn about the Assad. Okay, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's spelled A-S-S-A-D. So I'm going to say Assad. These are small creatures that look like flies, but they're bigger than regular flies. So these grotesque creatures are thankfully very rare in the known world. Appearing as large flies, the Assad is only seen during the hottest times of the year, normally during midsummer. You could use these anywhere and any when and any time of the year that you want, because it's a fantasy role-playing game. So make it up, use it as you wish, wherever you want. They could be in the desert, they could be in swamps and marshes, they could be in cities, they could be in, normal rural areas, anywhere, mountains, frozen Arctic areas, whatever. So use them wherever you need to. In combat, the creature will attempt to bite a victim on exposed flesh. The attack will incur 1d3 points of damage. Not too bad, right? And you could scale that if it's a mid-level adventure. It could be a d6 or 2d4, whatever. So you could definitely change things around as needed. Lay eggs. While the victim is paralyzed, the Assad will descend and lay its eggs in the jagged wound. Once done, it will die. Oh, the Assad will die. All Assads are hermaphroditic. If the eggs are attended to in the same round they are deposited, they can be destroyed with no further harm. If, however, they are unattended for longer than one round, they will bury themselves deeper in the victim and will be unable to be removed. These will lay dormant for 1 week before hatching. During this time, the eggs can be destroyed using a heal, a wish, or limited wish, or a remove curse. Pause. Karafa, who the would use a wish spell when they could use a heal spell? What a waste. This is where it gets even more gross. If a week passes and the eggs are allowed to hatch, the larva will begin eating the internal organs of the victim. They will mature inside the victim, doing a total of 2d6 damage per day for 2 weeks. During this time, only a heal or wish will kill the larva. Once 2 weeks have passed, the larva will emerge from the victim through the initial wound the Assad created. When this occurs, the victim will take 3d6 damage and must make a constitution check. Failure means the victim dies as a result of his experience. This is what I like about Castles and Crusades. Save or die. Now, if you're my age, if you're in your 40s or older and you grew up playing first and second edition AD&D, that was a thing. Like, you just died. I can't even begin to tell you how many characters I had from those years. Just died. Let's talk about that paralysis bit. A successful bite will also paralyze the victim for 2d4 rounds unless a constitution save is passed. Due to the strength of the toxin, the victim will incur a -2 penalty to their roll. There goes those punitive penalties, right? What if you get stung by multiple Assads? Maybe that is a cumulative as well. You might be saying to yourself, all right, Bill, that sounds like an amazingly punishing, punitive monster to throw at parties just to be mean-spirited and evil DM. Yes, that's true. It kind of is. But it's not just a pointless random encounter. Not necessarily. It can be, certainly. But you can make it into something bigger. What if there was an evil wizard or priest, some kind of evil magic-using person, who figured out a way to modify the offspring of the Assad to be something else? So in other words, these large horsefly-like creatures lay their eggs, but this particular brood of maybe 2,000 of these things, when they lay their eggs, they don't respawn as new larvae that turn into other Assads. Maybe they turn into something else. Maybe the effects of the eggs being laid turn the victim into a zombie, and the zombie moves with the brood. So the flies fly from place to place, and all the zombies that they make, which spawn more Assads of this same cursed type, create zombies, and the zombies go with the broods, right? So the Assads can lay even more eggs in the zombies, and the zombies are still going to be ambulatory. They're still going to be able to move and partially sentient because they're tied to the hive mind of the brood, going from place to place, spreading disease. spreading death and destruction, right? Like the ultimate curse. And the only way to stop it is to cut it off at the source. So now you go from an encounter with these annoying flies to what turns into a mystery adventure, right? Because maybe adjacent communities have all fallen and there's zombies sprouting up everywhere and these massive swarms of flies that are moving from settlement, hamlet to village to towns, right? And as they're kind of all moving, they're all heading towards a city. Maybe it's the capital city, or maybe it's just like a really important port city in the setting that you have. So what seems like mindless, acts of nature or even abominations, magical flies that can do this, because of the zombie component now, are carrying this zombie horde with them towards the capital city. And nobody knows how to stop them. So there has to be some kind of clues that you throw in, right? Maybe there are clues about this wizard or this priest or whatever who uttered a curse upon the line of the king who rules the city, or the lords of whatever that rule the city years ago. Maybe through arcana and history, the party can start to figure out, like, why is this happening in this area? Or maybe you throw other physical clues, like at the scene of each community that was attacked by these things, almost like a Game of Thrones thing. You know how like in the White Walkers would leave like deconstructed bodies in these like spiral symbols, right? Kind of like the children did. And the White Walkers continue to repeat that. Maybe there's like these weird things where they leave like horse body parts and other livestock and human body parts in these weird intricate patterns. And those patterns, in fact, might just be symbolic in nature, or clues, physical clues for the party to figure out like what the hell's going on and who's behind this. Or maybe they're magical. Maybe they're beacons. And then the next wave of zombies and the next brood of these Assads know to not go there because there's no living left there. Oh, actually, that's dope. That should be what we use. And ultimately, where does this lead? It leads on yet another component of what goes from adventure to adventure into a longer running campaign to find and stop the magic user, priest, wizard, whatever, warlock, whatever game component you want to use, to find and stop this terrible, terrible plan from happening. And that could be a mid-level or a high-level thing. If it's mid-level, maybe they make the journey and they have to fight their way through zombie hordes to get there to the outpost where the wizard's tower is, or the ancient ruins of where he's taken up his residence. And then there are other minions who are serving him, who are protecting him or her or them from, the party, from trying to stop the ritual. Maybe there's an energy source that the magic user needs in order to keep the ritual going. And that is somehow hinted at or clued in on, like a bright beacon of orange, swirling light that's been seen in the far off mountains east of the city. And that's what drives the party to go to that location, and ultimately finds out that this magic user is, conducting this ongoing ritual to control the broods and the hive mind and the zombies and guide them towards the capital city to destroy his opponents once and for all, to fully enact and realize the curse that his great-grandfather laid upon them years ago, whatever the case may be. It could also be part of a longer campaign thread. So if you wanted to, you can make that big bad end guy who's controlling the Assads and the zombies not actually the big bad end guy. You can make him like middle management. So they take him out and they discover that there's someone above him who taught him that magic, who taught him those rituals, who showed him how to control and modify the Assads magically to create zombie spawn. So that's yet another level that you could add to it. Or you could hint at it and then bring that stuff into your campaign like 3 levels down the line, when the party's forgotten about the Assads and the zombies. See? That's how that could go. So, could it be a simple fly that you throw against the party when they're traveling from one place to another during an adventure? Of course, you could. And it would bring great pain and suffering to them. And that would be fun in and of itself, because then they'd have to figure out and diagnose like what's wrong with them. And if you're playing like 5e, that's a medicine check, right? Or in any other game, like some kind of wisdom check to diagnose what's wrong. And then the treatment of that could be magical, as they indicated in this book. But if you don't happen to have a heal or a wish spell, Maybe you make it a component of an adventure. Maybe there's a specific series of plants that can be gathered and then, apothecaried into a curative that expels the larvae from the body, right? Some kind of tonic that you can brew, but maybe getting these 3 plant-like materials is a challenge in and of itself. And you're on a timeline now. The clock's ticking because every day the person who's infected gets sicker, right? So then the party has to go gather these things. And maybe they have to fight some dangerous monsters or aberrations or animals to get the plants, but then they get them all. And then there's some skill checks and knowledge things that have to happen to put it all together. And then they make the tonic and the infected people drink the tonic and they feel better. Yay. That's just by itself. Curing the person could become an adventure. You just have to think about how this would work in stories that you probably already know, and then borrow elements from those things and make it your own. Synthesize your own cool adventure out of this dumb concept. I hope this has been entertaining and informative for you. And of course, I appreciate all my patrons on Patreon for your support, without whom we would not be doing this series called Monster Monday. And you, people watching, I hope that you have clicked on that subscribe button because it doesn't cost you any money. Just do that, please. And we'll see you on the next episode of Monster Monday. Happy gaming. Hello and welcome to Monster Monday. Today we're delving into the Castles and Crusades book once again to look at a cool little diabolical fly called the Assad.
Assad, dude.
Carafa, I didn't know you were chill like that. All right, I have to take a
Well, hello, and welcome to Bill Allen World. I am Wizzy, the Wizard. I'm back once again to remind you to subscribe and click on the notifications button, and also watch videos that are over there. Tune in to the next episode of whatever show you were just watching, and watch other shows featuring Bill. He made me say that because he's a narcissist. Okay, bye.